Hi, it's Oa and welcome back to my channel. So as you may already can tell from the title, today is a story time, and if you haven't seen my previous video, I am now paralyzed. I've been paralyzed for a year now, and I realized that I never actually told the story on how I got paralyzed, so this is what I'm doing today. So it's a hard story for me to tell, but I'm gonna try my best to describe all of it as it happened. And I'm gonna insert a few pictures when I have some of what happened. But basically the whole story started February 2020. One morning I woke up and I didn't felt my legs or my arms at all, and I could move them, but it was really hard because I didn't have any spatial awareness anymore. No matter what I did, I couldn't tell where they were. So that was on a Sunday, and on the next Monday we actually went to the emergency room because of it, because it's not normal. So we went to the emergency room and they offered to keep me there and to try to see what was going on, because I needed to see my neurologist at the time. So I got hospitalized for a week, well, 5 days, and basically I just spent the whole week waiting. Nothing happened, and yeah, it was just nothing happened, and I got sent back home, and that's when COVID hit and everything closed. And because I was considered high risk, I didn't have physiotherapy, ergotherapy, nothing. Everything was not for me anymore because it was too risky. So everything went downhill from there. I started not being able to move my fingers anymore. I could barely even hold a pencil or anything. Like, it was getting worse and worse every single day, and the worst was in June. I wasn't able to do anything, and throughout this whole period I was actually in a wheelchair because every time I would put shoes on to go outside, I would just drop on the floor because I was able to walk because I could feel from my feet, from my skin, I could feel the floor. It's kind of weird to explain, but basically I could feel the floor, so I knew that I was actually walking on something. But whenever I would try to put shoes on, I would just drop to the floor because my brain didn't know anymore that I was on the floor for some reason. So I was already in a wheelchair because of that. And the worst day ever was the 11th of July 2020, which was the day that I got paralyzed. Basically what happened, I woke up that morning and I couldn't move my legs anymore. I was terrified. Thankfully I had my phone next to me, so I just reached for it and I called my mom, and she came and they tried to get me off the bed, and I just fell on the floor. Nothing was happening anymore. It was so scary. Like, I literally have my heart racing just talking about it because it's still really hard for me. But so I had to stay in bed the whole day. I was laying here the whole time because I just wasn't able to do anything, and my arms were super sore and super hard to move, and it went worse and worse. And around 5, I think, my aunt actually came because she does kinesiotherapy, and she tried help. And at the end of the session, my arms weren't moving anymore. I was just completely numb. Like if you were to lift my arm, it would just flop back. So at that point I was hysterical, crying, completely lost and super scared. And my parents were actually completely in denial. For them, everything was fine. I was gonna be able to walk again. Like, we were completely in denial. But my aunt actually was the one who told them, no, you have to call the hospital and like do it quickly because she cannot live like this. It took a little bit to convince them, but they ended up calling the hospital and they told us that we had to go to the ER. And by then it was like 8, I think, 8 p.m. or something, and they gave us an appointment at 10 p.m. So we just packed things, and then we realized that I wasn't going to be able to do the stairs to get outside the door. So thankfully our neighbor, well, he was a firefighter, so we called him and he came and they put me in like a desk chair, like those gaming chairs. My brother had one, and they put me in this and they got me down the stairs like that, and I already had my wheelchair downstairs, so that was fine for that. So I was hysterical. I was on the verge of throwing up because I was so scared. I was doing panic attacks on panic attacks, couldn't breathe. Oh my gosh, I think I'm talking so fast, but I'm reliving the situation right now. It's kind of hard. But basically, we ended up driving to the hospital, and in less than 5 minutes, nurses came to help me get off the car, and I got admitted immediately into a room where they did a few exams, and by 2 a.m. I was in another part of the hospital, and I had my own room and everything ready to stay there because something was clearly wrong, and because I wasn't even able to move a finger, I couldn't go home. So that's when everything really started. And for me, in my mind at that moment, I was sure that the next day I would wake up and I would be fine, which it wasn't. So that was fun. And the first week I stayed in a part of the hospital that wasn't meant for me, and it was a nightmare. I always had to have one of my parents with me to help me go to the bathroom or eat or anything, because the staff didn't have time because they just had so many patients, so it was super hard. And throughout that time I was supposed to be transferred because they didn't have space for me, but they actually ended up finding a place for me in the special rehabilitation center that they had. So I was transferred there after a week and a half, and that's when I really got to, I don't know how to say this, but like fell home, I think, because for 3 weeks I actually didn't sleep at all. But then I finally accepted it a tiny little bit, and I just went into a routine of physical therapy and all that. Hi, day I was actually editing this video and I realized that I forgot a part of the story, so I'm just gonna explain it now. It's something that happened quite early in my stay after I was transferred to the special part of the hospital that was more meant for my kind of case, I would say. And one of my nurses actually did something so amazing for me. I'm never gonna forget it. She actually had a dog and we talked about how I love dogs, and she actually talked with my doctors and she got me to do dog therapy at the hospital. I had a dog coming once a week. I'm just gonna insert a picture of him here. He was so cute. My gosh, I'm sorry, my voice is doing something weird. But so what happened was that I would sew him every week and it was so cute. It really helped, and my parents actually saw it and it convinced them to get me a dog, and now I have a dog, so that's why I have one and I'm really happy about that. But so yeah, that's basically that part. And also when I was able to move my hands and arms again, I had to push my wheelchair by myself, and because of that I had appendicitis. Like my tendons were irritated and inflamed, and I had those everywhere, like my shoulder. I had 2 in my fingers and stuff like that, and like everything was hurting. And like my doctors actually decided that it was normal, so they contacted the genetics, and now I am in the process of getting tested for a bunch of genetic disorders. So yeah, that was a huge step in the right direction, and I just wanted to add that. And yeah, back to the video. But I wasn't making any progress, but thankfully I was in a unit with a bunch of other people like me, so it really did help. I also met, I kind of have a family that I met there. We were joking a lot about that, but I had basically a sister there, and if she's seeing this video, knowing me, thank you so much for everything you did for me there. I'm never gonna forget you because you did so much. She was there at the same time, and she was also a long-term patient because all the patients in the unit were only there for 3 weeks, but she wasn't, so we spent 2 months there together in the end. And after 2 months I didn't make any progress, except I was able to move my hand, but I needed assistance for absolutely everything, and my assurance said, no, you're not. You're not gonna stay in the hospital. So I was kicked out of the hospital, and my parents had to find a solution to have me get back home, and it was a lot of stress, and yeah, it was a lot, and really it was a chaotic mess, honestly, just all of that. But in the end I got back home, and I've been home since September now, but I am still paralyzed from my legs, which that's still the way it is. So yeah, that's basically what there is to say. I don't really know what are the other things that I could say, but other than that, But thank you for watching. If you wanna continue on following my journey, then subscribe to my channel. Also follow me on TikTok. I post a lot of daily updates there, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!